What? What? Welcome, this is Moon Dives, and today we will be discussing Nevertheless. But before we talk about that, do you notice anything different about me? Today I'm wearing my glasses. Yeah, I wear glasses. I haven't been wearing them because of like the reflection, but I also couldn't see when I was speaking, so I thought maybe today I'll wear them. If there's a problem, I'll stop wearing them. So I said today we're going to be discussing Nevertheless, and I don't really have my own description today, so I'll just use what Netflix gave me. The intoxicating charm of a flirtatious art school classmate pulls a reluctant love cynic into a friends with benefits relationship. How does that sound? It sounds steamy, it sounds dramatic, it's in a college setting. So sit down, relax, hit the subscribe button, and enjoy the video. Also, spoiler alert. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive into it. So our main character is Nabi, and we're introduced to her immediately. She's going to like this art thing that her boyfriend is in, and then she gets there and she's like extremely disappointed because he's made it like this erotic sculpture of her. And I was just like, okay, like, do you? But then you find out he didn't tell her. He just did it, and she came there all excited, like, today my life is gonna change. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like an erotic sculpture of her, and it was her name, and then he also called her by her name, and everyone was like, oh, that's Nabi? That's why he called it Nabi? You know, so afterwards we see her like in a corner, and she's crying, and he comes there, and he's telling her shit. I don't want to swear, so that will be censored, but he's telling her nonsense, right? And we see that it's not his first time. There've been many red flags. He was like controlling. He got angry when she got like different colored nail polish. He was not it, right? But he's there and he's telling her, don't you want to see me succeed? And she's falling into it. She's like, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my fault. It's never your fault. Okay? It's never your fault. But moving on from that, we continue to see her like go through the motions because of this whole erotic sculpture he's made of her, and she tells her friends who are not really her friends because they're there, and they're just like, oh, he did it because he loved you. No, you're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be like, nah, let's go beat up this guy. Who did he think he was to come and make a sculpture of me in that position without my permission? You're supposed to be fighting for me. Is it not not real friends? But we know they're not real friends because later on in the episode, like, none of that hair colors that we saw in the beginning were there in her friend group. Anyway, she's still, like I said, she's going through the motions, but she's forgiven him. They're still together, and then to top it all off, we find out that he's cheating on her. He's a cheater. So, you know, she breaks up with him, and it's like a nice vibe. I gotta say, when she broke up with him, I really liked it because the next scene we get like this nice music, and she's walking through campus, and everyone's like, hi Nabi, hi Nabi, hi Nabi, and she seems like so like over it, so happy, and I'm just like, yes, you don't need no mans, you don't need that punk ass bleep bleep bleep, you know. So so she looks happy, right? And I'm liking it. Her and her friends go up to the rooftop because that's where the art majors smoke, you know. And then we get in like a bit of a vibe because there's a guy there, and they don't show us faces a lot in the first episode. Like, we don't really see the ex-boyfriend face. We don't really see the friends who are telling her that he did it because he loved you's face. And now, even when they're telling us that this guy like likes her and he would like to go on a drink with her, they just give us like a fuzzy back image of him. And she's like, obviously, no, I don't want to go and see him. I just came out of a relationship. I'm done with boys, you know. But then the story unravels because they give us a bit of a flashback, and then it's like the day that she broke up with X, which is like her ex-boyfriend, and we see that she met a guy on that day, and obviously the guy was Jiwan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right because I can't really remember them saying it, but his name is Jiwan, and he has like a tattoo of a butterfly on the back of his neck. And you know, butterfly in Korean is Nabi, which is like her name. And so he sees her, and he's there, and he goes like, are you this and this and this and this? But she's not this and this and this and this. And he's just like, okay, give me a second. He goes on his phone, and he cancels his previous appointment so he can be with her. And then he comes there and goes like, I cancelled. And then they're just having like this vibe that like they're really going off of each other well. They have this great chemistry. Everything is like feeling really good, because he even states that I really like butterflies, and you know, butterflies is Nabi, and Nabi is our main character's name, and it's like so flirtatious, and I'm just like, oh my god, you're so audacious. They just met. Mentions that, would you like to come home and see my butterflies? And I'm like, what is this, another way of saying Netflix and chill? Is this another way of saying Netflix and chill? Because that's what it seems like. And she's like all cool with it, and then but she's like, let me go to the bathroom first because she wants to freshen up. And then she comes out and she finds out that he's on the phone with another girl and saying like, just wait, you know. And she leaves, as she should, because like red flags already. Like when she spoke earlier, she asked about a girlfriend and he like just like swerved the question. Like, come on now. So I don't know what day it is. I don't know whether it's the next day. I don't know whether it's a week later. But we sort of see in between the story that like she sees someone who looks very similar to him on campus, and he's like busy with a girl in the library, but we never get to see the face. You know, that I just needed to add that as well. I just needed to add that as well for like later reference into what continuously happens in this drama. And then we're done with that night. Again, I still don't know what time frame we're in. We're not really getting like set dates, set times, like a week later, this. It's just like we got that one, the day she broke up with her ex, and then we're seeing her continuously afterwards. And we see that she wants to apply for like the foreign exchange program. You know, there's not really much about that. She wants to like apply for it because she was hurt by her ex and she just wants to like escape. But like the teacher she's talking to is so rude. It's so rude, and she basically insults her throughout the whole process while uplifting another student and saying that she's not good enough and she needs to work harder. So she's like, I'm gonna stay up all night, I'm gonna work hard. That doesn't pan out in K-dramas. It's not like really a dinner. They go to like a bar and they have like chicken and cold drink, and it's like the whole faculty. That's what I was looking for. So that happens, and when she arrives there, who is there? None other than Jaeon. But she doesn't know his name yet because he never gave her his name, and she told him like 1,000 things about herself. But it's okay. It's fine. She gets there, he's there, and her friend is like, this is the junior that I wanted to, you know, ask you out. I wanted to go on a dinner with you. And she's like, ooh, you know, like she missed a chance, obviously. I saw it in her eyes. She missed her chance, right? But it's all okay, because when they're sitting there, those two, it's like they're in their own world. They're just like going back and forth, they're giving each other eyes, they are like mouthing things to each other, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to feel like because like he seems like a liar. He was talking to someone else on the phone when he was with you. He ditched the girl that he was originally supposed to be with for you. Man, come on. Things are not adding up. This doesn't seem like okay behavior, okay? So they're being cute. I'm finding it way cuter than I expected. And then the two are like, okay, let's go get ice cream for each other, for everybody else. And we have a little PPL moment there that just made me laugh, because like she was holding the ice cream so awkwardly throughout. They walk back to the bar to give everyone. And so the night ends, and she asks him again whether he has a girlfriend. And this time, he doesn't swerve the question. He gives her a proper answer. He says he doesn't have a girlfriend. And now she's like, She's so caught up in him. And I just want to speak about this in this moment. She said, and I quote, not like properly quote, but she did say this, that she doesn't want to be in a relationship right now because she just came out of one, right? But then, the minute she sees this man, oh my god, it's like she wasn't even a breakup after all. It's like all the words she said were a lie, because now she's falling over him. She's asking, do you have a girlfriend? She's flattering, because even after this, right, she gets home and they're in a group chat and they're talking about how everyone has to send the money for the night, right? And she sees his name there and she's like, she hovers over it. She even goes sees his DP, and I'm like, come on, girl, like, don't fall too hard too fast. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Be safe, especially when someone, there's just something in her, because I've noticed in her behavior, because in the interactions they keep on having, right, he's always like very touchy with females, right, and she just switches off as a person, because she's clearly is like traumatized from her ex-boyfriend being a teacher, and she thinks that these him being very touchy with females, yeah, that's something she should watch out for. And every time she sees that, she just sort of shuts down. And I get it, it's cool because she's falling very fast, very hard, you know, and it's cool. But it's also sometimes I was just like, okay, come on, you gotta chill now, you know, because he's not your boyfriend yet. And some people are relatively touchy, but we only see him being touchy with girls, so I get her. Let's stay away from that vibes. But she doesn't ever stay away. She went home and she looked at his number. Does anybody look at someone's DP like that unless they like them? So the next day she's on campus and she's looking for him, and it's exactly what I just said before, where it's like falling too hard, falling too fast, and she's just like actively seeking him out when she just said, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. And so she's actively seeking him out. She doesn't find him because that's what life is, you know. When you're looking for someone, you don't find them. And then eventually he comes to her like class where everyone sculpts because she's a sculpting major, you know. Okay, doesn't sound right, but I'll roll with that, right? So she's a sculpting major, and he comes to the place where she works to do her work, and they have a good night together. Like they're talking again, undeniable attraction, vibing, and then towards the end of the night, they're just about to kiss, and then the episode ends. Things to add on to episode 1 that I did not touch on is that there's this two girls friendship that they're showing us, and it's giving me very gay vibes, you know. Like the one girl is the girl that was going to also be in the exchange program with Nabi, and she wants to leave. She's not telling us why she wants to leave, but she's not telling her best friend, who she seems to like as well, you know. And then her friend, who is very boy crazy, very I want to be in a relationship, blah blah blah. That's their storyline. Not gonna touch on them too much because that's all we got so far, but they seem like cute friends. So that's the end of episode 1. Now to go to episode 2. Next episode begins, and shocker, they do not kiss. Obviously, he gets a call on his phone and he has to leave, and she's like, you know, sad, but whatever, right? The next day, she's speaking to one of her best friends that we see, who also try to hook her up with Jaeon, and she's like, hey, you just gotta be careful with him. He treats all girls like they're special, but he's never actually settled down. And she goes like, no, there's nothing happening. Take your friend's warning, okay? Take your friend's warning, because we're watching her, right? And she's falling really hard. And your friend is telling you that you're not special. He's just treating you like you're special. He treats every girl like they're special. So, even if the words seem a bit like fake to you, digest them. Just digest them. Like, let it sit in your head for a bit. Think about it. Watch out. The two end up going on like a date, but not really a date because obviously they wouldn't call it that, but it's to a club, and Nabi doesn't seem very comfortable, right? They're partying, everything, and then they go out again because he smokes. She doesn't smoke, but she always joins him. And what happens? Another girl approaches them, but this time it's not no random girl who just wants to flirt with him. No, it's someone he knows. And there's a very familiar vibe. Like, I say they know each other, but when I say familiar, like this very touchy, very there's more than just friends vibe coming from her. And Nabi just like, she clocks it and she just says, I'm shutting off, right? Because the rest of the night when they hang out, she's just off it, and then they're walking back home or wherever they're walking to, and okay, I've composed myself, right? So he says, we've just been in the same academy. That's why she's treating me this way. And this girl just scoffs because she's like, you know that butterfly tattoo that she has? That girl had it as well. And she's like, okay, so you're just going around putting butterflies on everyone that you go to, like your private academy to learn at, his arms. I can see in her eyes. I'm voicing what she thought at that moment, right? And she's just off it. She's like, come on now. Like, come on now. Why are you such a liar? Needless to say, the night doesn't end well because he just keeps on pushing this narrative of she's obsessed with him and she needed to get a reaction of him, and not really adding himself to the equation. He just keeps on saying, nah, we're not that close. She's probably done that all by herself. But it doesn't feel that way, especially in the way they were talking to each other. So she's just like, peace out. Nabi decides to pull back from him, right? She realizes that something seems very off about him and maybe she's a bit too invested, so she's going to try to keep away from him. and just remove him from her life. And that lasts for like 5 seconds, because he appears in her classroom and he's like, do you want to go for lunch? Why didn't you answer my messages? And she's just like, I was busy. And yes. They have their lunch. We don't really see it, but she's home now and she's looking at the messages he sent her and she's just like, and I really like that a lot, because the drama really shows us that she sees his behavior as sometimes just like, oh, come on, he's trying too hard, or this doesn't seem legit, or like just something is off about him. Nabi knows that there's something definitely off about him, but she's just like, there's this undeniable attraction between them. I've said that so many times, but I'll say it again. There's this undeniable attraction between them that she can't explain, that just keeps on pulling her back towards him. I don't think I believe in that, but I understand because the show shows us him in such a light where it's just like, yes, you see that some of his behavior does not match up, but they show you more of him treating her kindly and seeing how she really enjoys it and how they both really enjoy each other's company. So they have their night call and he's just like, I called you so I could hear your voice. And I'm just like, okay, you need to stop. You need to pipe down a little bit with all that you're giving us. But it's cute, they're cute. The two actors have like really good chemistry together. And we fast forward to another scene with them and okay, so it was like it was a very steamy moment. Like, he comes to her home and then the minute he enters her home he just starts kissing her, and then they go on the floor. No, not on the floor. Then they go in the living room, then they go in the bedroom, and you know what happens in the bedroom, and I was just there and I was like, if this is not a dream, like, I swear to God, first of all, how does he know where you live? This is really creepy. Just, this is all wrong, you know what I'm saying? And it was a dream, thankfully, and it was her dreaming about it, and she was just like, oh my God, this is my first erotic dream. I was like, and she's late to class because of that, and she had a presentation to give, and I was like, come on now, but you can't regulate your dreams, so I'm gonna leave her alone. So she's sitting in on the next lecture, and who else is in this lecture but Jaeon? Who else, right? So he leaves his friends and he comes sits next to her, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, I swear to God, like, he keeps on doing things that are just like makes you go like a little bit fluffy, but you also just like, I'm watching you, because that's how I feel with him the whole time. So she's in the second lecture, and at the end of the lecture she'll be given her presentation that she missed out on, and Jaeon sits next to her and he's trying to speak to her, but she's like shutting him out, and it's because she has like a pimple on her chin and she feels like her periods are starting. Yeah, like, I didn't understand. I felt like it was because of the pimple. So she ignores him, she doesn't even look his way, and he gets hurt, obviously, because even if his behavior seems off to us, he has been nothing but really kind and honest towards her. And he's just like, you do realize that the way that you're just so up and down with me, like, really hurts my feelings. And he picks up his bags and he goes. Good for you. Like, also prioritize your health. Also prioritize your mental well-being. Like, someone can't keep on going and then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, you're so cute, I like you. No, come on, like, respect yourself as well. Okay. It's time for her to give her presentation. It's at the end of the class. He's walked away. She's feeling a bit off. And then she's giving her a presentation and she seems like she's rushing through it. And it's because, like, her periods just started as she's presenting. I was watching this with my best friend, and when this scene popped up, now she just like was like, wait, I realized what vibes the show has been giving me. It's been giving me very Wattpad vibes, and I was just like, oh my God, exactly, yes, because like the scenes, come on, man, like a scene where she gets her periods in front of everybody else, and she's trying to rush to the presentation, but the professor is like, no, you're rushing, so go through it slowly, but the only person who's noticing is that bad boy that she's falling for. Okay. And when she's done with the presentation, she rushes out of class, and then he follows her despite his anger, and he takes off his jacket and he wraps it around her, and he compares sometimes the lines, I don't even know, but he compares him having a boner in class to her starting her periods and how she would help him take care of it. And I was like, what? The night of the faculty drinking session comes about, and then the minute Nabi comes, there's this whole weird creepy guy thing going on with her, and I was just like, no, because they chose the typical like kind of guy you would think she would be harassed by. Not like I would think she would be harassed by, but like how they do it in TV shows. So it's this guy, he's fat and he wears glasses and he seems like sort of nutty based on the look they're trying to give us. And the minute he sees her, he's just like, oh, so you come into this because you've broken up with your boyfriend now. And he mentions things like she should take off her clothes, take off like her jacket, and mentions things like, oh, she has a higher pain tolerance because she's a woman, and because women like give birth, they have higher pain tolerances. Like basically like just creepy stuff, right? And my main problem with it was just the fact that they chose that particular actor to play it, because it just pulled me out. Honestly, it was like, okay, so why do you have to make the person who's not conventionally attractive be the villain in the story, you know? And then the one who is hella attractive and who she basically calls the main character of the story is always gonna swoop in and be like, I'm gonna save you. That was the vibes it was giving me, and I was just off it. I was not living for it. I was not engaging. I was like, come on, you can do better than this. Don't do that. Just don't. The two eventually go out again because he's smoking, but this time she's with one of her friends, and that guy who was creepy comes out again to bother, and he's like, hey, wait, does Nabi and Jiwan have like a vibe? Are they going out? Because that's the vibe I'm getting right now. And she's about to say no, but then he says it first, and then she's just crushed by the weight of it all. Because like I felt so confused at that moment. She legit was about to say no, but the minute he said no, she was just like, okay, so he's playing me around. He was drawing a line. He really doesn't like me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, come on, you know why he was saying it. I know you insecure or whatever, but, no. Because she was gonna say it herself, you know? And he just beat her to it so that she wouldn't have trouble with this guy who has been bothering her the whole night. During the night, Jaewon has been, like, interacting with girls, and Nabi has been seeing it and being like, so he's really close with all the girls in the faculty, blah, 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 because it did seem that way, and they were, like, talking in a very, like, uncomfortable and annoying manner. Text him 24/7, and towards the end of the night, it seems like he's gonna go. And Nabi, despite the fact that she said, I want to stay away from him, is bothered by this fact, and she does something she's never done before. She invites everyone who was busy drinking back to her place for a second round. So they go back home, and it's like a truth or dare vibes, and it's just kissing and drinking and truths, and yeah. So the party is like slowing down, people are leaving, she's cleaning up, and then she's hearing like weird sounds in her house somewhere, and she's thinking, oh my god, is Jaewon busy with a girl? Because her mind always goes to him being busy with a woman first, and it's not. It's just two of her other classmates busy in her closet. And I was just like, come on guys, have respect, this is my home. Not my home, but her home, you know? And she decides to go out, and she sees someone again who looks like Jaewon kissing someone in the corners. I was like, hey, there's no way you can get out of this one tonight. Hey, you can't get out of this one tonight. He couldn't. And when he saw, he was just like, oh, it was just nothing. Come on, it was nothing. And they end up kissing each other. I was so shook because I was like, you seem like you want something deep with this guy, right? And you just saw him busy with another girl, you know, something that you've been seemingly bothered by the whole time. And you think, okay, this is the moment where I kiss him. And before she kisses him, she even like asserts her dominance or whatever, and she like wipes off what was left on his lips. Overall, I really enjoyed watching the first two episodes. Like I mentioned earlier, it has that Wattpad vibe, but there's something about Wattpad books, you know, with the drama and everything being fun to continuously go back to, watch and laugh at times. And with this, we have like a high production quality, good actors, and crazy, like nonsensical, sort of cringy, cliche vibes, and I'm enjoying watching it because the way they approach it is really fun. I like that Nabi is so aware of all the bad things that Jaewon is giving off, like the vibes he's giving off as a person and his actions and everything, and how she tries to assert her boundaries at times, even if it like fails miserably. She does realize that this is not something good for her. I also like Jaewon because while we're being told that he's not the good guy for the main lead, he's still a good guy. He doesn't treat people rudely or anything. He just doesn't seem to be the relationship type. And who am I to like mistreat him because he doesn't want to be in a relationship? Some people are just like that. I also like I also like the storylines that they're giving us with people in the office, her friends, the two girls who are eventually gonna fall in love. I'm telling you, they're gonna fall in love. It's fun because outside of just them two, I feel like to completely like give us the immersive experience of a college drama, we need to see these friends, we need to see the people that they're interacting with. So the way they depict the females in this drama is very fun because usually they make sure that we're aware that even though they're like girls, they're also in college and they also need to be in relationships, and their desires, sexual or not sexual, need to be sated as well. And I think it's important to show because with men it's always like out there, and then with women it's something that is reserved and not spoken about, and it's fun to see that, especially in a K-drama. Overall, I will continue watching it, and if you want to see my thoughts on episode 3 and 4, you can hit the subscribe button, like the video, and hit your notification bell so you can be the first to watch it next week, same time.